again, back with our portability session. Welcome, and let's just dive right into this.
Awesome.
Because we left off at a great place talking about, the fact that you can carry over the difference between the appraised just value of your home, between that and the market value at which your home sells for, and apply it to your new home. Now, we gave the example of if you're, selling a home for $200,000, buying a home for $300,000. So we gave an example of upsizing, right? And we had to these are numbers again. We're playing with numbers, so this isn't true numbers, of course. And we want to keep the numbers easy so it makes it more understandable. So we were saying basically, if you'd owned that home for 10 years and you paid $100,000 for it, you're taxed at now 120 grand. You sell at 200 grand. That's a difference of $80,000. So now you can take that $80,000 and you can port it over to the new home you've purchased at $300,000. And now you apply that 80 grand, you're actually only going to be assessed at $220,000 versus the $300,000. So huge tax savings there.
Absolutely.
But of course, leave it to the government. They always have to put little things in there to, make sure you can't necessarily always get all of it. There are little things to that, but just to keep it easy, and understandable, that's where we went with it. So now, John, I'm gonna let you take back over.
All right.
And get into this monster of a subject.
Monster of Miller time.
Yes.
Love it. So I truly do recommend that you, if you haven't done so, go back and watch the first two segments. It's going to make a lot more sense. This isn't the easiest subject matter, but really it's not all that difficult either.
And it's one of the most, even though it's not the easiest, it's one of the most important for you and your financial wealth.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You can do a lot with the money you save on this. So for those of you that want to overpay your taxes and pay voluntary taxes, please ignore this. For
Yes.
all the rest of us,
Yes.
pay attention. This is a big one, and it happens every year for as long as you own your home in Florida. All right, quick recap. The Save Our Homes Amendment in the Florida Constitution prevents the assessed value of your Florida homestead property from increasing more than 3% a year, or exceeding the percent change in the consumer price index. Don't let that sweat you. We're going to know which one applies each year. It's whichever is lower can be the increase in the assessed value of your home. So it can only increase as much as 3% a year, could be less.
Right.
That's what that CPI says. Oh, it could even increase less, and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
This is known as the Save Our Homes assessment limitation. So, Florida law allows the seller to transfer her Save Our Homes benefit to a new home in Florida. If the new homestead is of equal or greater value than the old homestead, I call that upsizing. Mm-hmm. The homestead, kind of like that. Your fries go with that shape? Yeah, put them in the bag. All right, so if you're going to a bigger home, you've made some money, you've had some kids, you just got to get out of the starter home, it's time, whatever. Mm-hmm. You want to live on the beach, the river, all those other beautiful places we
exactly.
have. Right. So you can port up to $500,000, $500,000 in tax savings to that next home. So if you had a home that was being assessed at less than $500,000 and you upsized to a $600,000 house, you'd be paying taxes on a $100,000 house to start with.
Wow.
Right? Wow. Pretty cool. I don't know that we mentioned last time that often these tax savings, when calculated in advance, can help folks get a mortgage that they would not have otherwise qualified for, because it will reduce the amount of escrows monthly, right? If your taxes are lower, so that they can buy more house.
And that's like even a whole other subject, really, that we really want to get into. But I want to save that for a session when we can have one of our preferred lenders that we both like to work for help come in and explain that from the lending standpoint, because when real estate, it is really your financial wealth. I mean, if you look at everybody in all the one percenters, yes, they have stock, but it's real estate where they have a lot of their money tied up into. So real estate's it's a biggie for Americans. It's the American dream. Real estate is.
It's the cornerstone.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's why I like to call myself a consultant, because there are times when I have a customer that is ready to upsize, and I'm like, you're crazy if you sell that house because you don't need to do it. That's wealth, because that's investment. Holding your money. So, real estate's just amazing with that. So let's table the lending side
Absolutely.
of that until we get our preferred lender in
Sure.
here. But let's get back into that upsizing, downsizing,
Yep.
and then of course the lovely government that also will put caps on things and
Yep.
and stuff like that. So
$500,000 is a pretty good cap, though. There are not a
Yeah.
whole lot of people that are going to stay in a house long
Right.
enough that are going to port
right.
$500,000. It would take a very
Right.
valuable property
Right.
and a long-term investment.
And you're probably going to see more of those types, like maybe oceanfront for people who maybe like bought in the 70s or 80s or something like that, and now it's worth
Sure.
a lot more, millions.
Might know a few
Right.
people like that. Like to know more. I also do estate planning, so those are some of my favorite
Yes,
people to
you
have in
do.
the office as
Yes,
well.
you do. I know.
But I digress.
Okay.
Just a little. Really, growing wealth, growing your estate
Mm-hmm.
through real estate is the most tried and true way of doing it. So
Yes.
I absolutely applaud what you said.
Yes.
Now, let's take the empty nester. The kids have gone to college. They're ready for a smaller home.
Okay.
They're going to move from the big house to the little house,
Right.
still in Florida.
Right.
So if the new homestead is of a lesser value from
Okay.
the old one, a percentage of that accumulated benefit's going to be ported.
Okay.
A percentage of it, right?
So you don't get the whole
Right.
difference then. Okay.
But you're still going to get a nice amount.
Okay.
And there are online examples of how to do it. I do a full hour-long workshop on this subject.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Which
part,
is fabulous, by the way. That's actually
you.
what got me into the portability. Shelley invited me to that, and fabulous. So definitely when you do that again, if I have any customers interested, I'm sure you'd be okay,
Sure.
right? Not just for us realtors, correct?
as soon as we are gathering unsocially or
Oh, yeah, that's
non-distantly,
right.
if we are socially
Right.
gathering non-distantly,
Yes.
we'll do it. For
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
Got to get that.
So-
We're physically distancing right now. We're not socially distancing.
That's right.
I can tell you, I'm still social as anything.
Truer words have never
It
been
goes with
spoken.
the Miller last name.
That's right.
Okay, so
So it's going to be a percentage as you're downsizing, but it's a
Okay.
fair formula. It comes out okay.
okay,
All right. So you can never port more than $500,000. You can port as many times as you want in your life as long as you're moving a homestead throughout
Wow.
Florida.
awesome.
Quick recap, because I know we're running up against time. If you're upsizing, if the just value of the new homestead is more than the previous home's just value, the entire benefit can be transferred up to $500,000. Downsizing, if the new homestead is of a lesser value than the previous home, a percentage of the accumulated benefit can be transferred, and your taxes are going to start out lower either way.
Wow.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I guess you can get into the formulas if you're downsizing of that percentage, because again, the percentage that you get is going to depend on the amount of downsizing or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a formula that compares the amount that you downsized and then the percentage of the portability figure that you've earned.
Okay. And this is where this really can get a little more complicated, and probably a great time to call you.
Yes. Love the plug. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
Love
yes.
the help.
So again, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this session of Miller Time.
Miller time.
Woohoo! It's Miller Time. All right. Have a very blessed week again, and we will see you later.